We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the voices of...
We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because truth brings powerful transformation, and we are the voices of change. We are all about evolution on an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show with our panel tonight, where we delve deep to find out what's happening beyond the stars. Thank you all for joining us as we take an extensive dive into the whole new reality. There is so much more out there than we realize, and until now, we have only scratched the surface. Come with us as we explore the darkness of the universe and shed some light on the extraterrestrial experience. Disclosure is here. Now, allow me to introduce some of my most favorite people who are part of tonight's panel. First, there's Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal and UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. They're founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. And they're also owners and managers of Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakenings Vodcast on YouTube, and of the Mystical Awakenings Metaphysical Store in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Next, we have Deb Jordan Cobble, aka Deb. Hi, you guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Good. How are you, Mary?
All right.
Good.
Good.
It's been fairly quiet. I don't know. It's been good.
It's always
Better
nice to
knock
see
on
you.
wood.
Yeah. Good idea.
I feel like I've been gone for like 6 months. I haven't been on here. It's been a while.
Yeah, you missed some shows lately.
Yeah.
Time to get you back in the groove.
Get her all warmed up.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We miss you when you're not here. We even talk about you when you're not here.
Yeah.
That's scary. Now I'm gonna have to
yeah, we talk about
I
it.
listened to the shows, but at one time I went back and listened to some of them and I missed something, and somebody said you talked about me.
We do.
Yeah. Well, we talked about all the pranks we're gonna pull on you.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
UFO Con.
That's coming from Deb. That's just straight off the hook. There you go.
We're naughty.
Great. He's looking over my shoulder for Mantis.
Mantis loves you.
Ew.
There's a deep connection.
You know what? You just be quiet up there in your square, Deb.
I got a picture to send you. I forgot. I took
No,
a picture.
you can keep forgetting. It's
No,
fine.
it's a good picture.
So Dana, telling Deb to be quiet is like telling Dana to be quiet.
Yeah, between the both Debs,
Happen.
doesn't work.
Yeah, Deb. Mary's kind of quiet.
Yeah, but she's not really though. She takes it all in and then she can drop a zinger. That's what she does. She's an observer with zingers.
I am. I'm a people watcher.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing to do. I love watching people.
You must have a blast with me. Even if my mouth isn't moving, my facial expressions are.
That they are.
They are.
I've tried to like not do that, and it feels like I'm gonna like climb out of my skin.
Tell you,
You
I
can't
got.
hide those.
You need my T-shirt that says, I'm not responsible for what my face says.
I do actually need that T-shirt.
Yeah. She needs one for every day of the week.
No.
It's gotten me into trouble several times, like when I worked, for instance, and there were particular management people that didn't care for me. Because we'd be in a meeting and they'd say something and I'd be like, I didn't even know I did it. I'd be like,
And then to be like, Dana,
they knew who I was.
Dana, do you have something you would like to share with the group?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And I'd be like, no, why? You seem to have rolled your eyes. I said, no, I got something in there. Prove it. Prove I rolled my eyes.
Well, we can because, you're being recorded. So,
Oh, great.
yep, I have the proof.
I claim
So,
innocence at all times.
I just want to give everybody like a heads up with this regression. The first part of it's going to be a very sensitive topic. It's going to be very emotional, and it's going to be very raw. But like I was stating before we started the show, that it really reflects what a lot of star seeds go through, through the whole process of learning that they're a star seed, connecting with the fact that they've had experiences, the realization that there's experiences that they don't understand or don't even remember yet. And some of them go through a lot of trauma. And I wanted to share this to show that, and to hopefully be able to reach out to other star seeds to let them know they're not the only ones who experience emotions like this. So the woman initially wanted to go through a regression because she wanted to explore a near-death experience that she had. So the first here kind of starts to tap into that and that part of the experience itself. Just give me one moment.
And now you're going to go back in time where you had the near-death experience and then woke up in the hospital. So now we're at the day of the near-death experience. I'd like you to look around and describe what's happening for me.
My house that I was in. I took the pills and I went to sleep.
Pills and fell asleep. And you're going to cross over through the light and be able to see what actually happened after you took the pills. What's happening?
Still in that room. All I can see is that room that I took the pills in, and then the room where I woke up.
Okay, so let's move to right before you woke up. And you're aware of what's going on around you right before you woke up. And I'd like you to look around for me and tell me what you see.
It's an empty room with equipment.
What kind of equipment?
There's medical equipment. There's a tube in my throat.
So you're standing outside of your body?
I don't know. I can't tell. I can see myself.
Okay.
With a tube, laying in a bed with a hospital gown. And I can see the tube in my mouth or my nose.
Okay, and so what I'd like you to do now, as you're standing there and looking at yourself hooked up to the tubes, I'd like you to turn around and walk out the hospital room door. Take a look around at where you're at and describe what you see for me.
Maybe one or two staff down the hallway with masks on.
Is there anything else you notice?
They don't notice me. That I'm up. They don't see me.
Okay, so where would you like to go next?
I want to know what happened while I was out.
Okay, so all of a sudden, you're going to see this big, bright, sparkly, white, beautiful door. And the moment you walk through that door, you're going to be able to see clearly what happened to you while you were out. And you're walking through that door now, and you can clearly see what happened to you while you're out. Take a look around and tell me what's happening around you.
I can see the door, I can see the light, I can see the man who blocks the light.
Okay.
And he told me to go back, and I don't want to go back.
Describe what the man looks like for me.
I can only tell that he either has something over his face, over his lower face, like another medical mask, or a beard. I can't tell which one.
Does he feel familiar to you?
Yeah.
In what way does he feel familiar to you?
Like we're in some kind of, I can't tell if it's a family group or a military group. I can't tell. He's like my boss. I feel like he's my boss.
Ask him for me who he is.
Who are you? What do you want? We have a fight, and he wants me to go back, and I say, I don't want to go back. There's nothing there for me anymore. I don't want to go back. And he swears I'm going to be happy if I go back. What do I have to do? Tell me what I have to do to be happy again. Please. He pushes me back in. I don't want to go back in there.
Okay, so once you go back in, where do you travel to next before you wake up? Where do you travel?
Whew,
Wow.
that's intense.
So there was quite a bit there. He's just from a family group or a military group, right? That's what she said?
Mm-hmm.
He obviously feels above her because it feels like a boss. And I don't feel like it was a boss.
Anybody got any ideas about why would a military group be there?
No, she said that.
Not really. It doesn't sound like something a military thing. What? Of course, I'm going off of ours. Never mind.
No, it's
That sounds more like a family
only
member
thing I-
would say it to her, or a group leader. I don't know, like a person that
his authority.
more of a personal relationship than a work relationship that would say something like that to her. I You'll be happy there this time, that kind of thing. Not you must go and complete the mission, which that would feel more military to me, but I'm basing it off of probably some movies I've watched or something about the military, because
Right.
God knows they don't want me in that.
Well, maybe she felt because they were giving her orders to go back that it was more of a military kind of a feeling. Like,
Well, he did tell her that she had to go back because there was going to be a fight.
oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
But I agree with Dana. I don't feel like it's military like.
That just didn't translate that way to me. Plus, she was very emotional, so that would be more of an attachment to that place that she's in, which would be more like a home, I would feel. That's just me.
No.
Yeah, I feel like either family or source or
A guide, maybe.
mhm,
I don't know.
some sort of a higher being.
Now, I do know that she has had experiences over a long period of time. She's also had loss. So during the interview process, we had spoken, I believe, that she had lost a child recently. And also, when all of this happened, um, her husband at the time he just decided as soon as she was in the hospital, he was just going to up and leave her.
Couldn't do it. Huh?
Quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad you warned us, but I'm still not sure I was prepared. Yeah, it's very emotional. Can't help but really feel that empathy for her. Yeah.
Well, you can feel her
Mhm.
pain.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's, like you said, very
and
raw.
mm-hmm. And for me, I haven't dealt with it directly, but over the last 3 weeks, there was a student in my son's school who seemed fine on the way home, and that night, took a shotgun and shot himself. And then the very next day, one of my old teachers, he went upstairs and he shot himself.
Jesus.
That funeral that I was at yesterday was for my best friend's stepson. He shot himself. He was 48 years old. Out of the blue, nobody knew. Nobody had any idea he was in this dark place. And then the week before that, another 48-year-old friend of mine just keeled over for no apparent reason. And they haven't figured that out yet. So there's all kinds of weird stuff going around, happening around.
Mary, if you don't mind me asking, was this incident quite recently?
I believe it was back in 2023. Okay. If it's a little bit longer than that, then not by very many years.
I don't know why I'm asking this, because it's none of my business, but did she have any counseling since then? Is this the first time she's...
I feel like she has.
They probably made her, right? I'd imagine.
So was this a past life in which this happened to her, or was it this life? Oh,
this life.
In 3 days, will be my 32 years since my late husband did that. He was 49, as a matter of fact. In a couple of days, it'll be 32 years. And it was somehow connected to his experiences, and so that's all. That's something also that lots of people maybe aren't aware of.
Well, I was going to say, I was going to mention, bring it up, but I didn't, that you had directly dealt with this.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it shows that we never know what somebody's actually going through.
Right. It is very traumatic to go through it, especially if people don't believe you or you don't feel you can talk to people. And then losing a child as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, as a mom who I lost my son, I can tell you it doesn't matter if it was 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 decades, 5 months. Time doesn't matter. That pain is that pain. So, you know, if she had taken those pills so she wouldn't wake up, get that. But I'm so glad that they made her come back.
I think it's important, I've talked to a lot of starseeds who have felt close to taking their life because we're just built differently, vibrational wise. Growing up, life can be hard because you don't feel like you fit in.
You don't feel like you're from here.
Yeah. And sometimes you want to go home, but you don't know
Yep.
where home is. And, I just want starseeds and people in general that realization, just like the work that you guys do, right? That you're not alone.
Yeah.
And our good friend Michael Carter has a book that has a list of things that when you go over them, it'll tell you, what star seeds feel like, certain things. It's pretty cool.
That'd be definitely something to look at.
Yeah.
So for this next part, she starts to see like this black, round ball type thing with a halo
With
around
what
it.
halo?
Yep, with a halo.
I see a black ball with a halo around it.
What else do you notice about it?
Pulse. 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 It pulses.
Has a pulse?
Yeah. The light pulses.
So the halo around it pulses?
Yes.
Move closer to it for me and see if you notice anything else.
Green light.
Where's the green light coming from?
Outside of the white, like an additional halo. Like a white halo and then a green halo around that. It looks almost like a planet with a pulsating ring around it. Because it moves. It moves.
It moves?
Yeah.
In what way does it move?
Like that's not a planet. Like that's a ship. That's a ship.
Okay, I want you to know that you're safe. You're here with me. We're just observing so we can see what actually happened. What color is the ship?
I'm trying to see it clearly, and I can't tell if it's white or black or if it's shifting between the two.
Okay, let's back up just a little bit away from it, and then you'll be able to see it clearly, and then tell me.
Silver. I think it's silver.
Okay. So now what's happening?
It's changing its shape. It doesn't look like a ball anymore. I don't know if it's the same thing.
What's it look like then?
It looks like it has a square base with rounded corners and a point, something like a pyramid, but it's tipped on its side.
Okay. Is there anything else you notice?
I got this feeling at first. Before she said ship, it was a green pulsating light therapy for her heart, healing thing. But then she said ship. So I don't know. What do you think?
Wow, I'm mind blown. I really am. This is so intense. Um,
Mm.
you know, she was seeing it as a black thing to begin with, right? And then she started
Mm-hmm.
seeing the halo and started seeing green and the white and the movement. So, I don't know if it was something else. Like a healing thing makes sense because they were trying to bring her back.
Give me chakra.
Yeah, but at the same time, it could be she was just slowly able to see and comprehend what it was.
Well, what is? I mean, when she thought it was a ship, she got in a panic.
That was panic.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
yeah. She had started
Yeah.
hyperventilating.
Yeah. So thank you for talking to her the way that you did. My mind went right there to let her know she's safe. Um, yeah. So that kind of tells me or makes me feel that this isn't her first time seeing a ship, and it possibly may not have always been good experiences. And now I'm wondering if there's a connection between her child and the ship. But I'm weird, so
Well,
there's that.
Yeah. I mean, that was. Yeah, the panic. I agree with you. If she thought it was something good, she would have panicked like that.
Right. It was like a PTSD response.
Oh my God, they're here! Oh my God.
There's a
that'd be
reason
me.
for that.
Yeah.
And she's had a lot of trauma
Yeah, absolutely.
centered around experiences.
That's pretty obvious. Yeah. That makes total sense. Do you know? Do you know if her child had experiences as well?
That I am not sure. Um, and I feel like she is she's the type of starseed that has a much bigger mission, but it's hard for her to understand energetically. So some of the things that she's gone through, since there was no understanding of it, has just created more,
Confusion.
more and more
Yeah.
fear. And maybe not having an outlet of people you can talk to that says, you know what, I've been through something like that, and this is what happened to me. Yeah, she's been through a lot, and you guys will hear it through the rest of the clips. What the ship is, and among the some of the other contact that she's had.
Wow. It's a heavy one.
I mean, has she been able to talk to anybody besides you about this? Probably not. Or
I think she's reached out to like spiritual groups, things like that. Because I do know she had made mention that quite a long time ago she was shown what the new world would look like, what new Earth would look like. Um, and then she had started writing a book about it from what she was shown. And then in the middle of writing that book, there was a lot of occurrences. Some of this stuff right here, that just put her in this state of mind. And I personally feel like things were set in motion to stop her from writing that book. So I hope she gets to a point where she can heal enough to start writing it again.
Right.
Because she said she was shown a lot of things. She started writing this book, and then all of a sudden, she was being shown other things. So she doesn't know what the truth is, and what isn't the truth.
Yep. And I'm going to say go within because those answers are there.
Yep.
So we need to take her and spend some time with her and go through some meditation and some love and get her through this.
And show her she's not alone. And that's the most important thing.
Amen to that. Ooh.
So for this next clip, we delve into more about the craft and other things that she noticed about it.
I can see those eyes on the edges watching me. Somebody is watching me.
Okay.
They're just watching me. I don't know what they want from me.
Well, I'm going to give you an option, and it's going to be totally up to you. Would you like to go inside the craft and see who's watching you?
I'm afraid to go in the ships again because I saw the bad guys the last time I went in there and they wanted to eat us. They wanted to eat us.
Okay, well, you don't have to go in there. That's totally up to you.
I'm too afraid of them now.
You're all right. We're going to help you let go of that fear, okay? As we go through the process. And just remember, I've got your back. You're here with me, and you're well protected. So where do you go to next?
I see the little ones who look like grays, kinda. They're white-bodied with darker eyes.
Okay.
But they're not hurting me.
They're just there with you?
Yeah. They're not hurting me. They're not the ones who want to hurt me.
What are they doing?
They have my hands in their hands. They're trying to take me someplace and show me something. Trying to take.
Somebody wants to eat her?
That's what we were saying, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what she said?
I feel like it's more energetically. And the next clips will kind of show that.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was just kind of like
Draw her energy
the
out.
way she saw it.
I don't like this. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with you. It's really.
Imagine how she feels.
Well, obviously, but I mean,
Yeah.
be it energetically or not, that's terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they met physically, that's even more messed up. And, you know what I'm saying? But if it's like they wanted to eat her energy or her life force, I mean, that's messed up too. So, but
And what did Michael Carter always say? It's not all kumbaya.
That's what Dana Stricker also says.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But ironically, I'm sitting here. I always have to have a plaything, you know, something to keep my hand busy.
RJ?
Now,
We know what they're doing.
I have a little white gray who's meditating, and he's my buddy today.
With a pyramid.
With a pyramid. That's right. Yes.
Interesting.
And I have experience with pyramids. So.
Now, are there certain species that have crafts like that are triangle shaped like pyramids?
Yeah, she saw one. I mean,
yeah, my big experience in 2016, that's what it was. It was literally a pyramid. And, you know, I remember talking to Bill Konklowski about it, and he said, Deb, do you think that was a UFO or was this a spiritual experience? And right away I said, I think both. And, you know, from that point on, I had a realization that you really can't separate the two because it is a spiritual experience. It's.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. So, but isn't this ironic that, and that's what's comforting her as I'm sitting here listening to her, trying to contain my emotions.
Are they comforting
Getting
her? Are they
comfort.
leading her to the room to be eaten? I don't know. I mean, that's weird.
I need clarification on that bad
Well,
boy.
Yeah,
typically,
I
you know,
hear you.
especially females, we can tell if the intent is wrong.
Mhm.
Not always. Not always. But
We
we try.
we don't know who the bad ones are. Did she say what they were?
Bad
She
guys.
she really doesn't.
Because I'd like to keep an eye out for.
My mind.
No doubt.
Yeah, no kidding.
My mind kept on going to like this, like archons,
Yeah.
things like
Mhm.
that.
But- I mean, I don't see archons on a ship, but
Yeah.
they can make your mind do whatever. You know, they could put in her mind that
She's on a ship.
yeah. So, and they would be after her energy. They don't physically eat you, but they do. They feed off human energy.
Now, can I ask you, is she talking about something that happened when?
This I'm not sure. This is us exploring where she went when she had her near-death experience. That's what she wanted to know. She wanted to know what happened to her when she was out. Because she was out in the hospital, I think, like 2 days. So she wanted to know what happened during the time between her home and waking up in the hospital.
Because
So my assumption is it'd be right around that time, and these are things that she did.
it's weird because right about that time, or maybe a year before that, there was intel coming out that the archons were being removed from this area, and some of them were coming around to actually go to the light and be part of the light. But I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but they are really attracted to people that are of light. That people are like starseeds and everything else. They don't want that to happen. They want people to live in fear because that's what they feed off.
It's yummy to them. Yeah, they like that
It's
fear
called
energy.
Loosh.
Yeah, very negative, very fear, low vibrating energy. But you're right. It's
Would you excuse me? I have a call to take.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can you take me off or something?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hello.
So yeah, I mean, it's I haven't heard anything since then. From a couple of years ago, what the status was on that, but they're supposed to be coming around, and that because this change is happening, this light's coming, and so I don't know, but yeah, they do attack people that are very spiritual and very
Light workers.
yeah.
And the more fear based they can make them, the more they like it.
And the easiest way to do it is in your dreams. If you have a little nightmare here and there, then just feed that energy.
Or if you happen to be unconscious, like she was, in that
out of body thing.
Yeah.
So with this next clip, we delve into where the Greys were taking her.
Okay. So on the count of 3, you're going to be where they're taking you to show you. 1, 2, 3. And you're there now. What are they showing you? All the other people. Just the other people. They're normal. They look like me. They're people. Okay. So ask one of the little Greys where they brought you. Where are you at? Please tell me where we are. What do you want?
They need us to breed.
So are you there to breed?
Yeah.
Ask them why they need you to breed.
Ooh. Wow.
The good old hybrid. Huh?
That was a twist I did not expect.
Program.
Did she say where?
I feel like whether she realized it or not, subconsciously she chose to go on the craft. I think it was her way of going on the craft without being fearful. That's my belief.
And that would make perfect sense.
Because all of a sudden,
All these
here's all
people.
these, little white grays, and they're taking her
Mhm.
somewhere, and she's here with people. So I feel like she actually did go on the craft.
That would make perfect sense.
She just did it in a way where it would be less traumatic
Right.
for her.
Right.
Well, you know, there's intel out there, a lot of it, that the Greys are actually us in the future. They're coming back to try to straighten this past out so there's something doesn't go wrong.
I've heard that before, and I've
Yeah.
had somewhat of experience with that. And I mean,
Yeah.
even recently, the vision things that I've had something tell me that they were our future. So
Yeah. And so maybe they're coming back to try to right this thing. I mean, I'm hoping if that's the case, that they would be coming back to right it, to the situation, so we don't head into this direction where we keep our human part of us and not this cloning thing that they have going on, the same body, the same thing, and no reproductive cells and or organs. So, in my opinion, but maybe this is what they're doing to try to make it right. I don't know.
or maybe it's AI in the future coming back to get some bods.
Yeah.
To make some bodies
Yes.
to make some bodies that will be able to withstand it,
Right.
the intensity of it.
Right.
I don't know. My brain just like pours out over my head sometimes.
Well, that could be. It's been really, we're about the same age, and I keep hearing more and more young people talk about their conversations with AI, and I'm thinking, wow, these younger people are allowing AI to just.
They're acting like they're talking to a friend on the street corner. And I'm like, you're talking to a computer child, I mean, I follow a little girl on, well, she's not little. She is to me. She's probably in her 30s or maybe early 40s on TikTok. And she's been having this conversation with AI that she's given it a name. And she's posted a whole bunch of videos, and it's absolutely freaking her out, the stuff that it's telling her. I'm like, girl, what? So I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, stuff's probably happening I have no clue about. So, sorry.
Well, I have a musician friend that, he follows other musicians on, TikTok and everything. And he said this one gal, she couldn't sing very well, and she didn't have many followers, but she hooked up with AI. And now she has thousands and thousands of followers because AI has taken her voice and made it like it's Whitney Houston, And so, yeah. So, and he's like, I don't have a bad feeling about that. You're not listening to a real person. You have the idea, but they make it like it's.
I don't know. We're going to be old school one day.
I know.
We're going to be antiques.
Gonna be. Bad news for you, my friend.
Shut up.
We're there.
I don't know.
There.
This is definitely a different show than I've ever experienced. I wasn't here from the jump, but
Well, you've been here for half of them, so
Yeah, I don't think we've had one really like this. Have we, Barry?
I think so.
This is very different. And now my mind is like breeding. How did we go from this to breeding? And then, of course, my weird mind, so her child wasn't one of them. Has she been breeding for a long time? Not even aware.
Sometimes that runs in the family too. Like
often. Yeah. We're learning through this show that is more common than that. Right.
Well, she's very upset about it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have definitely hit on some things. So I'm going to play the last clip, and then this clip, the question is asked. So what is so important about the need for her to be breeding?
To be what?
Breeding.
Oh, breeding. Okay.
Yep, to be breeding.
We have something they don't have anymore. We have something they need. Something
What
they
is
don't
that?
have.
Ask them what it is they don't have and they need.
Please tell me why. What do you need from me? They said I already know. That's my, it's our genetics. It's my genetics, our genetics.
What's so important about your genetics?
Without them, they can't make a new world. There'll be nothing.
And so that's what they're trying to do?
Everything will die.
That's what they say about themselves?
They're trying to save everything, but they only need certain things. Because everything else will die.
So that's why
And
they're
some
trying to
things are
create new
salvageable. So they have to salvage whatever they can before it's too late. They need to salvage something so they can fix it.
So they're going to try to fix everything?
Yeah, they're trying to fix us.
Okay. So what happens next?
I see other women. I see other women here. I see other women here. And men, I think they're picking parts of us to reproduce.
Okay. So, like, they're using you and all the other people here?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So then what happens next?
I think I made somebody mad because I was awake there. And they want me to go back to sleep. They really want me to go back to sleep. They don't want me to see what they're doing.
Who do you think it is that's trying to block you?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Guys don't realize how close you hit on the mark.
Well, it's got me thinking now, crazy, like maybe this is the whole point of our existence from the beginning, so they could do this eventually. That we've been a genetic experiment right to the point where they got it, where they wanted it, and now they're taking it and solving the future problem. And I think a lot of it has to do with AI, Deb.
We're like a giant farm, and humans are the crops, and they're starting to harvest everything they need now.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. And
that's a weird thought.
Yeah, it's a weird thought, but can see what I can see that could be one of the reasons that we're here
Mhm.
to save ourselves.
Well,
Basically.
in human time, it's taken, thousands of years.
Yeah.
In universal time, there is no time. So it's like a project that's taking its steps, but the time doesn't matter. It doesn't exist really. It's how it's going. But yeah, I mean, how many times have we heard in our own thoughts and through people being regressed that, our creators are them. And,
We're made in our image.
humans keep advancing. Why is that? We keep evolving. And we're nothing like we were, a few thousand years ago.
Right.
So,
It's just it salvaged the ability to reproduce
mhm.
because they lost the ability to do it because they chose to just transfer their consciousness, their soul, from one clone to the next without doing the reproduction part.
What she said too really coincides with what you were saying, RJ, where maybe they're trying just to create, or maybe it was Deb too, both of you in that conversation. They're trying to create a human that can withstand the chaos, and it's what she said. They're just trying. They're taking certain parts of us to create something that can fix the earth and help create a new one if necessary.
Yeah.
Which is it's not the first
No,
time we've
no.
heard that.
For sure.
No.
Seems to be a
And
common theme, as a matter of fact, throughout
Mhm.
experiencers in one way or another.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it seems like it was one of our very early shows that we had someone and we were talking about. In fact, I think it was Michael and I talked about, like, so many of us have allergies to so many things on this planet. We have a hard time breathing.
Mhm.
I have asthma. Michael has asthma. And a lot of people have different issues with our environment. So that kind of says things have been played with to get us to adapt to this planet. And we're not
Yeah.
quite there yet. So they're stepping it up.
My greatest wish for her is to keep delving into this so that she can release some of the fear
Right.
that she's developed over obviously many, many
Mhm.
years. Because once she sees her purpose and the purpose of it all,
Yeah. Yeah.
through the self discovery and finding the answers, she's, I'm not going to say going to turn her life around because I don't think her life is necessarily going in the wrong direction. I just feel for her because she carries so much pain. Like I can feel it in my
Right.
stomach, the sadness and the pain, and you know, nobody should fear the unknown. They should experience life being excited about what's
Right.
coming.
Right.
And I hope that some point she's truly able to release that fear and realize that she's not alone, that there's a lot of people out there who have felt the
Mhm.
same way and who have had the same similar type of experiences.
And
Yeah.
maybe we are here to save it,
Mhm.
to save
Yeah.
our future.
Yeah. And her mission is obviously very important. And as experiencers, we all know it's kind of a heavy, crazy burden going through life knowing, okay, there are these things I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't know what the hell that is. And you feel like it's really important, and if you don't figure it out, you're harming everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would imagine that's kind of what she's been going through, just not knowing what am I supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
But she's doing
she
it.
needs answers.
What she did here is huge. The fact that she got this regression and agreed to allow it to be publicly talked about could help so many people. And it helps with the awareness of what truly is happening on a universal scale right now.
So I just can't figure out why they don't want us to know. What the hell? If this is the deal, then tell us. We could all function a lot better if we knew what the F was going on.
RJ dropping the semi-F bomb.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We're not kids anymore. Tell us.
Right, but humans are still very fragile and afraid of everything.
No, not all of them.
No, not all of them.
And you don't fear. You only fear what you don't know. So let us know. We won't be afraid.
Well, sometimes maybe the truth seems more frightening than not knowing.
But in the long run, it's not. I think. In the long run, it's better. Don't you guys? Don't you want to know?
Yeah, that's why we're doing this.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's right.
Yeah.
And each time we get a little bit closer.
As much as our audience wants to know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this lady wants to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Humongous kudos to her, truly, for doing this.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, that's for sure.
Now,
No.
will are we working with her next week as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we still haven't tapped into the subconscious mind either. So, before we go, I'm hoping that she's watching this. I know there's somebody that's heard this and they know they felt the same way. It's just don't ever hesitate to reach out to people, because one day she's going to be able to help somebody else.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Truly.
Sometimes you go through shitty things so that we can, hold space and energy for somebody else and actually genuinely understand where they're coming from.
And when you do this, it allows other people to do it too and get it out, and more and more comes out.
Yeah.
So like you said, kudos for her.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons that, many experiencers, I can only speak for myself, but after the realization of what was really happening with my soul and my life, I was obsessed with knowing more, learning, and being a voice. It becomes a true obsession.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will for her as well. And I kind of hope so, because not only will it help her, it'll help so many people. Yeah.
There's always a method to the madness.
Yeah. And a little madness to the
All right. That's right. You guys have a good night.
Thank you all.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.